Is there a need for Christian music in the TV film licensing business? Yes and no. So I've had a few students ask me this question. Now, if you have Christian lyrics on your tracks, if that's what you're talking about, mostly that's what I'm thinking you're talking about, because how would you know if a song is Christian or not unless there were like a lyrical melody or a lyrical message going on top that actually talked about Christian themes? If you do have music where there's Christian lyrics on top of it, there's a very small place for you in the music licensing business. I'm just being honest. There's not a lot of use for Christian themes. Obviously there are Christian programming, there's Christian channels, there's Christian movies. So there is an industry out there for that music. But is it enough to feed you so that you have a full-time income licensing your music, only getting Christian placements? Unlikely. I wouldn't say impossible, but very much less likely than if you had also instrumental music that you could also place to non-Christian outlets, right? So if you're a Christian artist and you're, morally opposed to getting your tracks placed on certain TV shows, secular TV shows or TV shows that you just morally disagree with, you're going to have a tricky time in this business, I'll be honest, because there's only a few programs out there that are exclusively looking for Christian themed tracks. So if you have a problem with that, this business might not be for you, just being honest with you. However, if you are open to composing instrumental music that doesn't have lyrics on it, or if you want to do lyrics that don't necessarily mention the name of God or Jesus, but can also be very uplifting and Christian, like in spirit or in nature, you could get a lot of placements that way, right? It's just when you start actually mentioning specific terms that are associated with Christianity where you start limiting yourself, because if it's a scene, like in a Lifetime movie where they have an uplifting message, they don't necessarily want to talk about God or Jesus, but they do want to have a sort of uplifting feeling. If your lyrics to you are talking about God and Jesus, but the lyrics themselves don't mention those names specifically, but they're just general uplifting, motivating words, you could get some great placements doing it that way. And then you're actually also getting your message, whatever you want to share with the world, onto a major TV platform, right? So that's one way that you could reconcile that difference if that's going to be an issue for you. But again, most of the TV, you know this obviously, that most of TV is non-Christian. It's secular. It's just reality shows, movies, that kind of thing. And obviously, if you watch TV, it's very not Christian in nature. So if that's an issue, you might want to think twice about getting into this business, because that's going to be where your bread and butter is. Again, I get placements from TV shows that I think are terrible, and I think they're like probably corroding our society. Not the happiest about that, I'll be honest. It's not something that I'm very, very thrilled about. And if I could change that, I would. But at the end of the day, I need to eat, right? I got bills to pay. I have, things that I need to take care of. So even if it's a TV show that I'm not that thrilled about, I don't think it's that great, but I'm getting a check from it, I'm like, well, at least I'm getting a check from it, right? And I'm benefiting from it. And what I'm doing with that income that I'm getting is I'm coming out here, on YouTube and trying to help other artists, right? So the way that I sort of deal with it for myself is that I know that I'm using the resources I'm getting from these TV shows that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm trying to put that into good use, right? I'm trying to also pay it forward, and trying to help people as much as I possibly can, so that I know, if there is a TV show that's, not something that's doing great for the world, at least the money that's being generated from that TV show, that a small piece of it that's coming to me, I'm going to do something good for the world with it, right? That's the least that I can do with that kind of a situation. Again, your placements are out of your control when it comes to this business. You're only going to be feeding basically a music library's catalog, and then what TV shows you get placed in is really not up to you, because in your contracts and those licensing deals that you sign with them, you're signing over the rights to them so that they can choose what your tracks get placed in. So you have to be okay with that if you're going to go sign with a library, and just be aware that that's typically how it's going to work. So hopefully that answers that question. There is a place for Christian music, but again, it's small, right? And I would say, rather than just always worrying about having Christian lyrics, do instrumental stuff, and then also have more kind of general lyrics that stay away from particular words, and you can do awesome stuff in this business.